Everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Miami Dolphins pregame show. I'm your host, Bobby Finstalk, joined always by FinStanza, and we got a special guest here today, co-host of the Touchdown in Paradise College Football Podcast, and our resident New York Jets fan, Russ Morgan, in the house. Hello, everybody. Russ, this is your first time, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm just excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Bobby. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's
Ready to talk some NFL. Little shake up for me.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a little different feel for you. Of course, like again on the pregame show, we're gonna talk obviously the big game today, Black Friday, Dolphins 7-3 versus the New York Football Jets, and then we'll go around the league and talk some NFL games and do some predictions. Finstanza, are you ready for some football?
It's Black Friday. I'm working while doing this. My buddy Ben, go back to work. I'm kidding. I told him he could take a break and watch the show while he's at work. No, it's a busy day for my company because I run an online business. So like Black Friday is a huge day for us. We've been prepping this for a month, but Dolphins just are at the same level. The game I'm going to be watching at 3. If I have to work, look at like this. Wherever I have to go, the screen's going to be in front of me. I couldn't be more excited. I wish I was at MetLife Takeover. I was this close to going, and I go Black Friday. I might get into a little bit of trouble, but no, I couldn't be more excited. This game for me is a little nerve-wracking. I'll be honest with you, but I'm excited at the same time. It's that game where I know what should happen, but is it going to happen or not?
And that's the thing, and maybe Russ could either say you guys have some validity to be a little, there's some concern there, or you guys, hey, no, guys, trust me, you guys are fine. Because for me, before the season, and even a couple weeks ago, I was saying, I said the Dolphins are going to split the series with the Jets. All right, Jets still a very tough defense. They're the 10th defense in the NFL. Their offense is kind of fluttering right now. It's on Black Friday. It's in MetLife. But, you see what's gone on the last couple of weeks with the Jets, and you're kind of like, hey, we should be able to get this. But it's still one of those games that you're kind of like, woo. All right. So, Russ, let's first just talk for you with the Jets this season, man. What a wave of emotions. You guys obviously, that defense. Evan jokes all the time about, how I feel about the general manager over there and the job he's done in regards of the draft picks, Sauce Gardner and company, Joe Douglas there. Then they go out and they go and they flirt all through the offseason. It's kind of here and there. He's hiding in a cave. Then he comes out and they get Aaron Rodgers and it's holy crap, this is going to be great. And remember, guys, this is a live show. There's the wife there. Happy Black Friday. There's the wife there. She goes, they're saying hello. And but
he's the much better half. The much better
half for sure. So, man, all this. First off, I would love to know, what were your expectations or your hopes when you guys got Aaron Rodgers before the season, and where are you right now with the New York Jets?
Bobby, I was, before the season, I was jumping. Like before the game, I was sky high. And when we got Aaron Rodgers, I was sky high. But then even when, even my friends texted me, like, dude, I want to see the Jets do good. I loved Hard Knocks. I'm like, yeah, I think they'll be fine. You got Aaron Rodgers, but that offensive line is terrible. And that's my one issue with, you're talking about all these good picks Douglas made. He never focused on the offensive line. And that's been the problem. I personally think Sam Darnold, if he had the defensive offensive line, would have been a serviceable NFL quarterback. But your offensive line is weak, and bam, and New York's, the media is going to eat you alive if you don't do good. But I was sky high, and about the 4 plays in, I probably didn't move for about 10 minutes. And then my dad and brother called me and asked me, "Are you okay?" And I was like, Is this real life? It's just like the life of being a Jets fan, It's always, I was with a bunch of Patriots fans yesterday, and they're chirping, talking shit about Brady. And I remember growing up watching, we had a solid team, Vinny Testaverde, and Brady, Bledsoe gets knocked out. I'm like, oh, this is fine. This is our conference. And then Brady comes in and we get another 20 years. So it's just like every time something good happens, you get nailed with something bad. But, and I even, I even watching saw his interview with Michael Kay a couple weeks ago talking about Zach Wilson. He's like, how is this your guy last line of defense for a 39-year-old quarterback? And he was like, yeah, I plead the fifth, which it kills me because Mike White's now with the Dolphins, and I fucking love Mike White. I mean, nobody when I was in Nashville, they were like, they didn't understand. I'm like, dude, I fucking love this guy. And like, even when you saw last year, they would run through a wall for that guy. They don't do that for Zach Wilson. I don't think they respect him.
What happened with Zach Wilson in New York? Is it just like, did they believe him at the beginning? Did he just fall flat on his face? I mean,
I think that, but I mean, I'm of the school where I think you should you should sit a quarterback. Look at Rodgers, he sat a couple of years. Look at Mahomes, he sat a full year. So I'm like, they threw him in too early, but he got drafted on one pass. He went 10-1 COVID year.
BYU, right? Yeah.
BYU 10-1 COVID year. And they're playing nobody. And the one game they play someone is Coastal Carolina, and Coastal Carolina was good that year somehow, and they lost. And then he goes in his pro day, and he's going the opposite way and throws a 76-yard dime right in the guy's hands, and it's like, bam. But this guy never did anything. So I'm like, you see all these guys getting drafted off pro days. I'm like, I like to see results. Granted, that draft doesn't look like it was that great of a quarterback draft class anyways, but still, Zach Wilson looks like the worst. But, yeah, it's not good. The line's just terrible. And to waste this defense, which I think they're competing for the AFC East if they have Mike White. But
you think that much of a difference that if they had Mike White, they'd actually be like right there.
I think
Buffalo, Miami.
It's just like, the morale's not there.
Final question, just in regards to Jets season. The way it's looking, if it continues to fall, and I don't know if Rodgers does come back. I saw that he was looking to, and then I see would you rather them? You say offensive line is the biggest issue. Would you rather them address offensive line in the draft? Or is there a quarterback that you're seeing in college football right now, as you follow college football, that you're like, man, I will hope the Jets can get this guy? Is there a quarterback, or you say, no, I'd rather stick with Aaron Rodgers and go draft an offensive tackle?
I'd rather have tackle, because even if you draft a quarterback and you're not focusing on the offensive line, you even saw it last year, probably in being a Dolphins fan. If Tua's not getting protected, and he had a lot of injury history in college too. And he's looking great this year because that offensive line is strong. I think that's kind of the problem, is when you whiff on a high pick like that, and you're in the position where now we got to trade picks for this 39-year-old quarterback because we whiffed. And I think Saleh, if they kept on throwing Wilson out there, Saleh would have been out of a job. And I still think we got the third best Niners coordinator.
First, guys, let me go ahead and welcome everyone. You're watching the Miami Dolphins pregame show on the FinStanza Sports Network. Ray Finkel, Chris in the house, Ben Aladino. Appreciate you all watching. Everyone tuning in, whether you're watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We appreciate you. If you're watching on any other platform minus YouTube, do us a favor. Hop on over to YouTube, smash that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you. We got Russ Morgan of the Touchdown in Paradise College Football Podcast joining us. He is a resident Jets fan, so I thought it'd be great to have him on, and his vast knowledge also of just football in general. It's really cool to have him. And of course, we are sponsored, FinStanza Sports Network, by Caneswear at Miami Fanswear. If you are looking for anything but Jets merchandise, Miami sports merchandise, Dolphins, Marlins, Heat, Panthers, Miami Hurricanes, Caneswear is the place. Find them at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Or, of course, you go to www.caneswear.com. They have great merchandise there. I live outside of Florida, if you live in New York, Texas, we got that hat right there. That hat was at Caneswear. He got it there. But you want any type of merchandise, but you don't live in Florida, go to Kingswear. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. And right now, starting yesterday, I believe, or the day before yesterday, they got a big sale. They're like 20 to 50% off or 20 to 40% off. A lot of on everything, on every team, on every item. So go check them out, guys. Great stuff. FinStanza, HN is out. Is that right?
Achan is likely not going to play, but I have some other news. That's why you saw me shaking my head.
Yeah, I did.
Kendall Lamb is questionable with a back injury. Now, how many more offensive linemen do we need? Between Hunt better be on his way back. This questionable thing, let's just put it to you this way. Teron Armstead better be a Warrior today, because God forbid,
No.
you have to put Eichenberg at left tackle. Like, don't even get me started, or Keon Smith. Then I'm a little worried. So to see these offensive linemen going down like this is, like Russ was saying, it's the core of your team. You don't have depth at the offensive line, you're going to get destroyed. Like, he brought up the comment about Aaron Rodgers coming back. Why would you bring back a stationary 40-year-old to come play quarterback? The reason why he was so good in Green Bay, you can ask Dave Stager about it, is that he had time to throw in the pocket. He's not going to have time to throw in the pocket if he comes back as a Jet. Are you crazy? Like, he should stay back for his own sanity. Stay back. Why would you come back to this? Without A-Chain today, we're going to see a lot of Jeff Wilson probably combined with Mostert. I think we need to run the ball a lot today. But do you have a question for me, or what was your question for me?
No. I mean, you're going there.
I'm concerned about that. If Lamb is out,
I was just going to say, Achin is out. If Achin is out, which it looks like he will be, and first off, Flaytez, great to see you. Steve Malloy in the house.
Hi, Steve, again.
If Achin is out,
yeah,
how much of an impact will that be for the Miami Dolphins?
For me, and I've said this many, many times, I'm not concerned about A-Chain not playing because A-Chain is not playing. Because A-Chain I want him to be 100% healthy. My concern about not having A-Chain there is Mike McDaniel's sense that when A-Chain has not been there, he seems to go more pass. And because A-Chain is like Tyreek for him. It's like a toy. And he will go to it because of the speed and because of how it performs. So when he doesn't have A-Chain there, he seems to, on these type plays, go to the passing game. And that's where we've gotten ourselves in trouble over the last couple of games. So for me, that's where I'm more concerned. I'm hoping that they utilize Jeff Wilson up the middle. I hope they use Raheem Mostert. I don't want to see any screen passes today because I don't trust our tight ends to block anything. So for me, that's the only concern I have with A-Chain. It's not the actual talent of the player. It's how it affects Mike McDaniel's game plan. Because Mike McDaniel, one thing I said, actually I commented on Thirsty Show earlier, is that he seems to struggle against his friends. So even though we have played, Robert Saleh last year ate him for lunch in the first game when the game sort of turned. When Tua wasn't playing, but sort of turned there. Against Shanahan, he struggled. Even the game against the last game of the season with Joe Flacco playing quarterback, we didn't score a lot of points in that game. I understand Tua wasn't playing, but we didn't score a lot of points in that game again. He seems to not do well against his friends. They seem to know how he's going to run things, so I'm concerned about that a little bit. Less about the player, more about Mike McDaniel. And as you know, I love Mike McDaniel, but I'm also his harshest critic. I don't like his play calling in tight spots. When it's 4th and 1, when it's 3rd and 1, and when it's 2nd and 1, he seems to go to the passing game because he thinks it's going to work, and it actually never works. It actually never works, and he still hasn't gotten away from that. And that frustrates me a little bit.
And just a point in regards to the Jets defense, again, the 10th in the NFL right now, and the passing defense, they're 5th. They only allowed 179 passing yards per game, where their rushing defense is almost last. It's 30th in the NFL, and they're allowing 138 yards per game. So the Dolphins have to rush that ball with Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and company. Russ, what's going on in regard to the Jets defense? I mean, what is there to love? What is there to hate? If you're running their defense, you go, okay, man, no, hey, I'd rather them be. They need to take care of Tyreek and Waddle, or they need to focus on that rushing attack.
I think. I mean, we all know Tyreek's going to get his. Waddle, if he's healthy, he definitely is a weapon too. But Tyreek, I mean, that guy, even though Sauce and DJ Reed, unbelievable quarterbacks, that speed's gonna find a way to get him the ball, and they'll find a way. Yeah, the rushing defense is a little more worrisome because like the passing defense, I mean, you got Quinnen Williams who got what 80 million, 65 guaranteed. He's got like half a sack where he's just getting double teamed, and you're getting, Solomon Thomas is getting sacks, and JFF and Jeremy Johnson, Florida State guys, tearing it up because they're just double teaming them. So I would run the ball on the Jets all day, and especially, just keep them on. They're going to be on the field anyways. Even when Zach Wilson was kind of trending up after that KC game, it's been the same problem since last year. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you're on the field 65% of the time, you're going to tire out. And that was like always the problem with this game when after Rodgers went down and you saw the Dolphins offense, I'm like, okay, if we maybe score 18 points, you're going to have to tell the defense, hey, you got to get a stop basically every time because that offense is so explosive. So, they've done Douglas has done a phenomenal job on the defensive side of the ball, drafting players, and free agents. But it's just not going to work with the Dolphins' offense is explosive, even with HN out.
Absolutely, no, there's no doubt. And again, I have high expectations for HN when he does finally come back fully healthy and ready to go. And this might be a precautionary out for him with that nagging knee injury, which sucks because he's already out 4 games. He's going to be out the 5th one now. But, especially if Miami, which obviously they do have hopes, making the playoffs and making a run in the playoffs, they want to make sure that they have him fully healthy because I do believe he adds an extra element to this offense that you don't have when he's not there. And it gives Mozart the freedom to play receiver, to play outside of that running back role, and to kind of add another element to the number one offense in football. And again, the Dolphins are the number one offense in almost every category, minus rushing, which they're tied for second. I mean, it's that prolific. So missing HN does suck. I mean, you saw the difference last week when he wasn't in there. It did pull out the win, but it wasn't how do you say that, Evan? A feel good one. It was kind of like okay, but it's still a win. 7-3.
Last week's game was one of those where the W didn't feel good just because we expect more from. It was something where the game should have been over much earlier, and it was one of those where we kept them in the game, and it was just like we should have been enjoying that afternoon, and it was like more of like a pulling teeth. It was just like, couldn't the game get to 0? Like we wanted that game to be over faster than it was. It was just one of those games where you just whatever.
I mean, but a win's a win. I mean, and that's what good.
Oh, what is this, Mike Brown? All of a sudden, Hebrew Hammer. What is this?
A win's a win. Like, I mean, I've on our podcast, I've been, I'm high on University of Washington all year, and Bobby actually was with me. He came on our show the first, and he was high on Penix too. And they won 22-20, and it was ugly. But I'm like, that's what good teams do. And I was with a bunch of Eagles fans last night, and they're all chirp. They always chirp me because I'm a Jets fan. I'm like, whatever. And then I'm like, well, Zach Wilson's the only guy who beat your team. And we had turnovers, we had this. I'm like, good teams win ugly games. They find a way to win.
Absolutely true. You're absolutely right, for sure.
So, I mean, and Antonio Pierce in Oakland there is doing a hell of a job. Actually, lived in Southern California, used to shop at my store when I worked at a grocery store in Southern California. The man's neck was like, I'm like, you knew this guy was an NFL player when you saw him.
Absolutely. No, I know you're right. A win is a win. And that's what we ended with. It's like, hey, you know what? They're going into they come off the bye. They're 7-3, first in the AFC East. And we'll be honest, Evan and I have been talking about it. Hank's my co-host for FinStanza today. Don't sleep on the Jets, because it is a divisional game, and it is in MetLife. So my next question for you, Russ, is What is your, I want to say confidence level, but if from 1 to 10, chances.
Probably about a 3.
Jets
Yeah,
pulling off and up.
probably about a 3. If you look at Tim Boyle's career college stats, he had a 48% completion percentage in 20 games. He had 1 touchdown and I want to say 14 picks at UConn. But I mean, if the Jets can get the running game going, which they just got to get Brees going, which is going to be tough because I think we've had 8 different offensive lineman combinations in 10 games. Losing Vera Tucker for the I love Vera Tucker, and I was always under the assumption I'm like, I know he's a great guard, get him at left tackle, protect that blind side, and we lose him 2 years in a row in Denver. And and last year was the same thing. We were hot, lost him, went downhill, and we lost him this year in Denver. Things start going downhill. But yeah, I was jacked for this game at the beginning of the year. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna Thursday, have my beers, my food, wake up Friday morning. I got the Jets Dolphins, and I'm sorry guys, like I hate the Dolphins. And this came up recently. There was like, when those years the Dolphins weren't good, I'm like, yeah, but growing up in early 2000s, I'm like, it's just painful. After that, it's just like, I got the 2000 Jets tape when I grew up, and I'd watch it over and over, and always be the Monday Night Miracle, and I'd see the Dolphins fans, screaming and yelling, "You guys suck! This, and this," and it's just like Jason Taylor over there shit talking, who played on the Jets too.
He did, yeah. That was horrible. I know.
It just kind of recently was like, oh, now the Dolphins are good, and my God, I can't. Yeah, it's just the only team in the AFC I'll root for would be the Bills, because they know the pain and suffering, as a Jets fan we go through. I'll never root for the Patriots in my life.
Yeah, and for me, I'll be honest, it is. I'm the same way. In regards to the Jets, if there's any team I can't stand anymore, or I don't like, it's the Jets. So how you feel about Miami? I'm with you. I'm in regards to the opposite.
Like I grew up like, if you have two teams, you have no teams. So like I see people walking around rocking other teams. I wear my Jets hat. I wear my Yankees hat. Wear my Celtics stuff. I don't wear. I support my teams. I don't. That's it. And like those are my teams. If you ask, kids were like, I had a family friend. His little kid's like, hey, who's your second team? I'm like, dude, I'm a Jets fan. I don't root for anybody else but the Jets. That's my team. I live and die. I go into every season the same way, and they usually disappoint me every year. They're like 4-5. I'm jacked out of my mind, and then it's we win 2 more games.
So oh man, it's the history between these two teams, and I have it here. I thought again, Evan brought it up earlier. The Jets last year, the Dolphins split the series last year. The Jets, I believe, won 40 to something, and that was with Skylar Thompson, and then we won, and if that was like. Was it? Oh, I'm sorry. Here, 40-17 on October 9th. The Jets beat Miami. Skylar Thompson at quarterback, and then in January the Dolphins won 11-6. Dolphins today are 10-point favorites against the Jets, and Miami does lead the series 58-56 and 1. That's regular and postseason. We don't have any inactives lists yet. Is that right? Nothing yet.
And Bobby FinStanza, I'm with you. When I look at every single AFC game on the schedule, besides the Patriots, because we can never really beat the Patriots for some reason, I'm always like, okay, that's going to be a split. I don't care. I'm like, Jets, we'll beat them in New York, but go to Buffalo, we'll probably lose. We can beat the Dolphins in New York, but then we'll go sit on the sideline where we'll have us baking in the sun in Miami. We'll lose that game. So it's like I'm with both you guys, where it's like, even though every time I see an AFC matchup, I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to be a split. Except, we haven't beat the Patriots in like 15 straight, times. But I don't think that's probably the case for us this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing with divisional games. It usually is like that. Now, of course, some teams are just having a bad year, and you look at the Jets right now. They've lost 3 straight. And then those games, again, 24 points total, 6 points against Buffalo, 12 points against Vegas, 6 points against the Chargers. But when it comes to a divisional game, no matter how it's coming out, it's one that you have to respect. You have to be ready. You have to not, we're going to run over them. Not always like that. One thing I want to do as we're waiting for any kind of update, and of course we are about 2 hours, I think, or and a half, I don't know how many, away from the game, 3 hours. We'll see if any inactives list pop up. We do know, or we're seeing reports that Devon Achane is out today. We know he re-injured his leg, aggravated it. So I don't think I don't see any official confirmation, but I do see that there are some reports out there. But before we continue here, let us go ahead and talk about the games that are coming up for this week.
I do. This might make you guys a little happy. I did pick Achane up in fantasy 2 weeks before he got hurt, so I had like 2 weeks. So
I did too. I picked him up like 3 weeks before, and that's when he made his run, of course. And then he got hurt, and then I put him back in last week, and he only got a point. So I was like, okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
But I would, even if he was healthy, I'd never put him in again. Like going in, like if I'm doing, I do it for fun. I'm like, I don't see my boys back in California a lot. So I'm like, even the Jets suck, I'll never bet against the Jets. I'll never put money on the Jets. It's not legal here in Florida, so I don't do it. I won't bet against the Jets. I won't bet for the Jets because if they lose, then it's a double loss for me. I won't play any players against the Jets when fantasy is, even if it's like, I'm going in the championship game. That's just me. I can't be one of those guys that are like, my team's playing, but I got this guy needs a touchdown for my fantasy team. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I try to stay. I'm with you. What's it? I'm just making sure everything is working here. Talking of the example about the divisional games and how you got to respect them. Look what happened yesterday, Evan. The Green Bay Packers defeated the Detroit Lions in Detroit, 29-22. Be honest, would you have picked that to happen?
I felt the job. Yes and no. One, because the Packers have always played well on Thanksgiving. The Lions have never won on Thanksgiving. I don't remember the last time. And they were ready for a letdown game. The pressure, everyone was talking about how great the Lions are, but they've had some bad. The losses that they've lost have not been good losses. And for me, they still have a lot to prove. They have a great offensive line, but the same thing that worried me about Jared Goff worries me about our quarterback. They can literally determine the course of a game. Jared Goff lost his team that football game yesterday. He could not hold on to the football. On 2 consecutive drives, he fumbled the football. Why? Because he didn't slide. He didn't throw it away. He tried to make a play. He tried to play hero football. And that has been his struggle, which is the struggle of our quarterback. And that he did that last week. He tried to dive for a play when he should have just slid or threw it away. And that turned the ball around for us. And that was our problem. But so for me, yesterday's games, you got to see in the 3 games, the Lions are no shoe-in for anything yet because they're still a young team. I do love the core of their team and the fact that they have great offensive line. Sam Laporte is going to be a great player. Their defense has struggled yesterday. Jordan Love carved them up a little bit. Rashawn Gary had a great game for them. The game against the Cowboys, it's Sham Howell showing that he can score a lot of points. He reminds me a little bit of Kirk Cousins where he can make a lot of plays, but that team is just not. Today they've already fired their defensive back coach, and Jack Del Rio, their DC, is out of Washington, which is kind of good for us coming up. And we play them in 2 next week? Yeah, next week. So that for me, and then you got to see. So the Cowboys though are similar to the Dolphins. The Dolphins struggle a little bit on the road, but they dominate at home because that's what the Cowboys have done. Also, if you look at the stats, but they're showing how great of a team they are, but it's at home because they have to go on the road. The Seahawks are a little bit of an aberration. The 49ers are an amazing football team. The one thing I would love for McDaniel to have watched the tape of Kyle Shanahan last night, the way he calls plays. The guy never looks up. He's focused on what he's doing, but he just sticks with what works. If he has to run the ball, he runs the ball. If he has to pass the ball, it's just a very, very smart football team. And so you got to see that today. But right now the class of that NFC, I don't care if they lost 3 in a row with San Francisco. That is both sides of the ball. That team just plays great football. But anything can happen. For me today, the only way the Dolphins lose this football game is Uno. Uno better. This is because if the Jets are smart, they're going to play exactly how the Patriots played us on defense, the way they play, in that second game of the year, where because DJ Reed is going to be on Waddle, Sauce is going to be on Hill, so those are going to be tight. Tua cannot throw into 3 windows looking for Tyreek, where there's going to be a safety and and Sauce covering him and trying to fit into that tight window. He has to let them run the football and dink and dunk where you have to. Use Berrios, use Craycraft, use Smythe, but don't force the ball. If you have it open down the field, great, but do not force that football. If I see Tua throw one ball into one tight window, I guarantee you the first tight window he throws is going to be intercepted. He has to play smart football because he is the one player on this team. A game like this, the way you lose these football games is by making self-inflicted wounds, because you have a rabid dog on the defense that knows. Tua doesn't know what to expect from DJ Reed and Sauce because he wasn't there last year to play them. So it's a surprise on both sides, but in the end, you always know this, and you saw what our defenses win out. We saw last week that if you have Jalen Ramsey and X there, the only time the Raiders got big plays, it's when they went away. It was not against X, and it wasn't against Howard. It was against Deshaun Elliott and Kader Kohu. If you go after their stars, you're going to struggle, Tua. So for me, my concern today is Tua making boneheaded mistakes like he did last week. If we lose a turnover battle today, it's going to be a rough game, because I do predict that I don't expect the Jets to score a lot of points today, but if they do score a lot of points, it's going to be because the defense gave them a short field and Breece Hall is running the football. That's where I see that happening today. So the Dolphins should be confident, but they shouldn't be. This is a kind of game where, unlike the Raiders game, where I expected them to have a big win, this is a game where I don't care how they win this football game. I just want the W. Get in, go what you have to do, go into Jersey, pick up the W, leave. Have a nice day. I don't care how they win this football game. Just get the W. Just get the W. And as you say this, Bobby, I do not want to see, because I'll put that on the offense. I do not any field goal over 45 yards. Shame on the offense. This is a kind of offense, even with your dinking and dunking and balanced attack, you should be able to get across that 40 to give makeable field goals. You should not be forcing it, because you know what happened last time when they forced the last time Jason Sanders was in MetLife. It was 20-17 at the time. It was 20-17 at the time. What's his name? Jason Sanders went to kick a 50 or 52-yard field goal. He missed it. It flipped the field. He could have punted it there. He should have punted it there. It flipped the field. The Jets went down the field, scored. Skylar Thompson could not throw a touchdown, didn't throw one last year, and we never came back. We never recovered. I don't want to see any long field goals today from the Miami Dolphins, because if they do it, it's going to flip the game. It's going to flip the game. I'm telling you, it's deja vu all over again.
Go ahead, Russ. You wanted to respond?
Yeah, you know that Sauce doesn't travel, so if I was the Dolphins, I'd be moving Tyreek Hill in motion a lot, because he doesn't travel with the number one. He's asked after that Dallas obliteration of us, he wants to travel, but they usually don't travel. They usually just stay on one
Dolphins. Side. Neither do the Dolphins. Fangio doesn't let the cornerbacks travel either.
So, I mean, and as good as DJ Reed is, he will give up some more than Sauce. So I would be moving Tyreek all over that field just to get him open. And I would put Jordan Whitehead right on top of him, kind of. If I'm Jeff Ulbrich, I'm like, all right, you're going to have to beat me. Tyreek's not going to beat me. You know, you're going to have to beat me with your other guys.
You know who's going to have a big game today? I think it's actually going to make a difference. And it helped. I think it didn't help last game that you had Waddle back there and you had different players back there. I think the fact that Barrios is back, I think he's going to return one deep. I think he's playing his former team that didn't want him. I remember when in the offseason, Bobby, who did I want on this team for special teams? I wanted Barrios.
I didn't want him.
You don't have to have him, but he's really been helpful to us up the middle. He's been decent on special teams for us. He doesn't cause any problems. I think he's going to have a good game today. I'd rather him go to Barrios than going to forcing the ball, because I want Tyreek to not overexert himself today. And I'm telling you this, Bobby, if I see one throw from McDaniel on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, I will lose my mind today.
You will lose your
He
mind either
better
way.
pound that football.
Yeah,
I don't care. Shame on him if he does not run the football on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Shame on him.
Again,
shame on him.
30th ranked defense.
His tight ends can't block.
The 30th ranked rushing defense
Run
in the NFL.
Run
the ball.
Run
Let me just say this. Again, we've talked about it. You joked about it the other night. The Dolphins' offense does become pedestrian against top 10 defenses. They are going against a top 10 defense today. Okay. This is the game where they could have themselves a game against one of the top defenses. Bobby, with you, you're going to lose your mind anyway. I'm going to lose my mind. No, you will lose your mind either way. But this is the game for Miami to do that. And again, it's going to have to be rushing the ball. And that's my thing. I don't understand. If you run the ball and you're using that as your strength and you continue and you start to choke those safeties up or those corners up, then you take over the top. Then you go over the top. And that's Miami's best chance to do it. They could do it today, and there's no reason. And that's why we're talking a lot about the offense. But again, we haven't even talked about Miami's defense, which again is moving up. Okay, they're 12th right now in the NFL. Week by week, they keep trending up. The Jets' offense, which Russ has alluded to, they're 30th in the NFL in the total offense. They struggle overall. This is the game that the Miami Dolphins defense, again, could have a strong statement game. There is no reason, and Russ, forgive me. You tell me why I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but there is no reason if they didn't score over 6 points against Buffalo, or 12 points at Vegas, or even 6 points in New York against the Chargers, who have a terrible defense. There's no reason why this Dolphins defense can't hold these guys to 10 and under.
I mean, Bobby, I agree with you this, and I really try to have hope with Tim Boyle, but I don't see it happening. And as great as Garrett Wilson had one target last week, and this guy's one of the best young receivers in the game. As great as Brees is, that offensive line still got to get holes, and you're kind of seeing that recently with his rushing attack. And we're 140 offensive possessions, we hadn't scored a touchdown. It's insane. And the one touchdown before that was a 1 yard screen pass to Brees Hall that he took 75 yards. But you guys can have Barrios, because I have my conspiracy theories on Barrios. Is he's best friends with Zach Wilson, and they beat Chicago with Mike White, had a hell of a game, making a comeback on Minnesota. They bring it down, they're going for a touchdown, hits him right there on the slant, and he drops it. I'm like, you did this to bring your boy back in, so you can take him. You can have him.
Okay, all right.
You know what he just did there? He's basically dropping the seed that the backup quarterback for the Miami Dolphins next year should be Zach Wilson.
I think Zach Wilson should. That guy should never be able to pick up a football after that. I mean, you're probably fine. Yeah, I don't wish any harm on the guy, but I don't want to see this guy in the NFL ever again.
Yeah, I get it. As a Jets fan,
So
you probably just
then,
pass that
let me
point.
ask you then, Russ. what is Rashawn Rice, Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Are they all dropping the ball for the backup quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs? Because they seem to drop every football that Patrick
Oh my
Mahomes
God,
throws
it's
to
great.
them.
It's like I was watching that game. I'm like, and you hear these Eagles fans like, yeah, we just beat the Chiefs. I'm like, you're still not the best team in the NFL, even though you're 9-1. I was with yesterday's people from Philadelphia, and they're like, we got the best record. I'm like, yeah, record doesn't mean shit. Do you win a Super Bowl? I mean, you had the best record last year too. Do you win? So, I mean, I still think Kansas City's probably one of the best teams in the NFL. And
their defense is, but they have no receiver.
With a receiver. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think San Francisco is the best team in the NFC too. That defense is disgusting.
Oh, we know if San Francisco would have had a healthy Brock Purdy behind center against the Eagles last year, they would have won that game. They didn't have Brock Purdy. That was a completely different mindset for them. They didn't have Jimmy.
Can you imagine the storyline, Rob, if that went down? Woo!
No, but excuse me, Thirsty. I've made this concession to Bobby many times. I will take Ryan Tannehill back as a wide receiver because that's what he played most of his time in college. So he can come back as a wide receiver anytime.
He's played more quarterback than he has played receiver.
Because in high school and part of college and in
Pop
Warner, he was a receiver.
He played quarterback in the AFC Championship game. Calm down.
Stop hating on him there. Derrick Henry brought him there.
I take Ryan Tannehill in a heartbeat. Like
I
got
$34 million. You take him at $34 million.
He wouldn't come in at $34 million. Stop.
He costs that 30
Stop
more.
it.
He's costing $34 million right now. $34 million on Titans payroll.
Stop it.
Give me a perspective, Bobby. He makes double the money than Derrick Henry. He makes double the money than Derrick Henry.
He's a quarterback. Most quarterbacks make more money than a running back.
Let me ask you: you live in Nashville? Who's the heart and soul of the Titans for the last 10 years? 5 years.
5 years. So who's the
Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill?
Derrick Henry. But what did Derrick Henry do with Marcus Mariota? What did he do?
Not much.
Exactly? What did he do when Tannehill got here? What happened?
Was Mike Vrabel there when Mariota was there?
No. What happened?
Vrabel had just got there.
What happened? No. What happened? You're not answering the question. Stop. You're a Canadian. Stop acting like an American politician. What happened? Answer the question.
Answer the question. I plead the fifth.
You're damn right you do. You're damn right you do.
You sounded like my boy Robert Saleh there.
He just keeps going. He don't answer. Come on, man. All right.
Hey, I mean, I was out at the bar watching this guy. He goes, I take Josh Dobbs, and I got ridiculed. He's like,
you should have taken Josh Dobbs. You should have traded for him in a heartbeat.
I would have took Josh Dobbs in a heartbeat.
Hey, I'm saying Josh Dobbs, you're talking about backup quarterback or whatever. That's the dude right there. I mean, but he's probably I would be shocked. I would not be shocked. I mean, if some team that's desperate for a quarterback that needs a starter for at least a year or two, or maybe who knows what he can do, they go and get him.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Because
I see the Vikings re-signing him and trading Kirk Cousins.
I don't know why people were surprised he comes in and gets that W. This guy's an aerospace engineer, even though he had 5 days. I mean, this guy's a genius. So it's like, he doesn't know his teammates. I'm like, this guy's a genius.
It's Ryan Fitzpatrick 2.0. That's interesting. You know, that journeyman who goes around and wins games and could be a starter for a couple of years. But the thing about Josh Dobbs coming out, I like Josh Dobbs coming out of Tennessee. Obviously, I got a closer look at him, obviously being here. I liked him coming out, and I think he has a shot, you know, to be the guy from the Lions. Oh my goodness. Who's on the Lions right now from Tennessee? No. The quarterback who was the Tennessee quarterback last year, he's on the Lions now. I can't believe I'm blanking out on his. Thank you. He's another one.
Andrew Hooker's great.
He's another one. Yeah. You guys need to clip Evan backpedaling and share it. Backtrack.
You know who that is? You know that's my oldest friend.
Really?
He's going out. He's the best troller ever. He's the best.
Guys, let's do this very quick. We'll get back to the game, but let's go around the league right now, and we'll talk about the different games. And what this is, Russ, it's not, it's not like TD in Paradise. We go over and under and all that. It's just predictions. You could say, hey, man, no, I see this team with the upset. I see this team with the win, and anything else you want to add in there. All right.
Good. Sounds good.
But obviously, okay, we know Packers upset the Lions 29-22. The
Baker ran around
Commanders,
naked in Augusta, Georgia. They had to call the cops.
the Cowboys,
You
the
missed-
Cowboys dominated the Commanders. I mean, every time you turned around, they found a way to score.
Darren Bland, first guy ever broke the record, 5 pick sixes in a season. That's insane. And
It's ridiculous, dude. It's and you said it like last week, I believe, Evan, about Prescott. And I mean, that dude played a great game. I mean, his passes were like
Not the
it was
first
the
drive.
slowest. There was one corner in the end zone to CeeDee Lamb. It was so slow yet perfect, right in the bread. I was like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but he had a bad
and of
first
course,
drive.
I know you said that. The 49ers defeated the Seahawks 31-13. I know you guys touched on that. Obviously, we got the Dolphins game. We're going to wait after all of this to touch on that. You got the Buccaneers at Indianapolis, Russ. How do you think this plays out? Can the Buccaneers take the Colts in Indianapolis?
I think this would be a good game. I think the Bucs, their defense isn't terrible. Baker's looking good. They got weapons on the outside, with Evans and Godwin. Rashawn White's looking solid. Baker's playing, Baker's kind of saved his career this year. He's looking good. And, I mean, I don't know. You got Minshew Mania there, so, he can do anything. But, I get a lot of Bucs games here, obviously. So, I've seen them a handful of times. I think they could pull it out. I like that offense. I think
Tampa Bay could do it. I think Tampa Bay's going to pull this out today, Evan. What are you thinking?
Dave, my oldest and bestest friend, big Bucs fan, as you know, lives and breathes it. While I was at his daughter's birthday party last week, his brother, who's also an obsessed Bucs fan, had an earpiece. He was listening to the game while I was watching listening to the end of one game. He was listening to the other game. The Bucs are going to win this game. There's no doubt in my mind. They released Shaq Leonard. I think that's going to have an effect on their defense, whether you like it or not. I don't see the Colts winning this football game. I think it'll be a little bit of a letdown. The Bucs will pick up the win.
All right. We got the AFC New England Patriots. What are they, 2-8 now against the New York Giants? Or they're 3-8. Either way, they got 8 losses. Can they pick up another win here today, or are they going to drop one again there, Evan?
Who are the Patriots playing? You didn't tell me who they're playing.
The Giants in New York.
That's not today. It's Sunday, right? Not playing today.
No, Sunday. Yes.
You said today. You said today. I'm confused.
Oh, Evan.
You said today.
Evan.
Rewind. Can we put that? How many times he keeps on saying today? No, the Giants are going to win. The Giants are going to have some momentum after beating the Commanders. The guy whose mom still makes his own bed and lives at home. I wish we all had that. I think there are days where we wish our mom still made our beds. The Giants are going to pick up the win. What?
Russ?
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants. Tommy DeVito.
I said the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going with Tommy DeVito.
We know you did.
This Patriots team's in shambles. We'll see if Bill Belichick's there next year. DeVito looked good last week. New Jersey legend Don Bosco, prep high school, Syracuse legend. So I'm going with he's gonna be good to go after he had his turkey and Manigault at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Giants too. I can't see the Patriots winning that game. Next one we got here for Sunday, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cincinnati. Obviously, Joe Burrow out for the year. Russ, can the Bengals pull this out?
I'm going Bengals. I think Jake Browning definitely has had a lot of time with the ones with Burrow's injury history. So it's not like it's going to be unfamiliar with him. And I think he got a full week with the ones. This guy was a very good college quarterback. We'll see how the Steelers' new offensive system looks, but I'm rolling with the Bengals. And like you guys all said, it's still a AFC North matchup. So even though Burrow's out, this is going to be a nasty game.
It's going to be a hard-hitting one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Evan, do you agree?
This Pittsburgh team, I was hanging out with a friend last night who's a big Steelers fan. This is the worst offensive 6-win team I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, the Browns have a better offense than the freaking Steelers the way you watch them play. It's absolutely awful. I think that I think they're going to play for their quarterback in Burrow being out. It's a division game. It's going to be a tight game. It's in Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a sour taste in their mouths. I think that I think they're just lost on offense, the Steelers, and I believe the Bengals will pick up the win.
I like that. I'm going to roll with you guys. Bengals. I'm going to go Bengals here. I like what you guys are saying.
Oh.
All right. So we got one. Carolina Panthers traveled to Tennessee to face the Titans. Evan, does Bryce Young get a win here?
No, Will Levis is going to outplay Bryce Young. Derrick Henry is going to shove it down the defense's throat. Mike Vrabel is going to put together, because like I said, if it wasn't for Mike McDaniel, I think we like Doug Peterson, you and I, but if someone told you that Mike Vrabel was available on any coaching staff, you'd run and get him.
Absolutely.
Like if I'm the Patriots, I understand Jared Mayo's there, but trust me, I'd throw every penny if Belichick left to go get Vrabel. The Tennessee Titans at home, I think, will be a good. They will not struggle. Will Levis will have a great game against that defense, and they'll pick up the W. DeAndre Hopkins is going to go nuts.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Titans on this one. What about you, Russ?
Yeah, I mean, if we're coming down to talent wise, Bryce is way more talented, but Tennessee's got more weapons on the outside. So, I mean, I wasn't high on Levis coming out of college. I saw him a lot there, especially living in Nashville, a lot of Kentucky games. But, yeah, I'm rolling with the Titans with you guys too.
There you go. Then we got a AFC South matchup. You got the Jaguars traveling to Houston. Miami would love Jacksonville to lose, and Jacksonville will lose. Houston will pick up the win, Evan. Or Russ, I'm sorry. Russ, am I wrong?
What was it? I'm sorry.
I got the Texans beating the Jaguars on Sunday.
I like that pick, Bobby. I like this Texans team. I like the way they're looking. CJ Stroud's looking good. Tank Dell on the outside there. I like, D'Amico Ryans, I think, has got something going there. Defense is looking good. So I'm with you on that. I think they're going to pull it out. And I think they could surprise some teams and, get into the playoffs.
Man, I'm with you. And again, this would be great news for Miami if Jacksonville could drop this one. But I think Houston, not just because it's not why I'm picking Houston. I believe Houston actually has a legitimate chance to get a divisional game in Houston. And the way the Texans have been playing and the way the Jaguars have playing, I'm going Houston here. Evan, what do you think? Are you with us?
Yes, Texans will pick up the win. They're just CJ Stroud has just been something else. And the defense has been playing great under D'Amico Ryans. It's a home game. It's a division game. I think they'll pick up the W. And just FYI, I know there's no inactives yet, but they gave a list on who the active wide receivers are. And Alan Lazard is up for today's game, by the way.
It doesn't make a difference. He's been.
I'm just mentioning it.
Well, he's been terrible this year.
And they did confirm Becton is out for the Jets. He's inactive. But I think we all knew that already.
Dwayne Brown's active, so I'll probably be in left.
How old's Dwayne Brown now? 40? 39?
I don't know.
The best is in those games where they had him chop blocking. I go, you're having this guy who's 40 years old chop blocking.
The thing was with that, they all offseason they would cut block. And Rodgers literally said, I don't like when you cut block, because if you cut block, I can't do what I do best and kind of make a play on the fly. And look what happens when he went down. They cut block, and he kind of tore his Achilles.
Yeah. Bobby, why is Twitter so obsessed with Tua's wardrobe? Can we just focus? I don't care what he wears. Just throw the football. I don't care what the guy wears to a freaking football game.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's ridiculous. He looks good. He's wearing a cool jacket, but who cares? It's funny because no one cares about what he wears at home, right? Because he wears the same uniform at home, right? He wears a uniform he wears the same thing to every home game.
All right, you got the Saints at the Falcons. Evan, how does this go?
Another division game. It's one of those tough ones, but I'll take the Falcons.
All right, Russ, you agree?
Is it going to be Heineke under center, or is it we had Desmond Renner again?
I think it's still Heineke at this point.
I like the Saints at the beginning of the year, but I'd probably go Saints if Jameis Winston was playing. But I'm going to roll with you. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Home game, divisional game, so it'll be tough. But yeah, I'm rolling with the Falcons.
Yeah, I can see you guys going that route, and I understand. I'm going to roll. I'm going to split with you guys. I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. Again, divisional game. I know in Atlanta, Saints have kind of been all over the place.
I'm disappointed in you. You live in Nashville, Tennessee.
So?
Home and founding of FedEx. Arthur Smith's father is the founder of FedEx. You should be always going for Arthur Smith.
You are the most random person.
No money in life, eh? This guy the guy has no worry about anything in life. The guy knows if he doesn't work hard, the guy will still be a billionaire.
Russ, you see the crap I deal with, dude, every week on every damn pregame and postgame and everything else, the random crap I got to put up with.
I'm entertaining.
Hey, Bobby, maybe it needs to be like Pete in our show and, miss about 3 or 4 episodes.
I'm entertaining.
That's awesome. Yeah, Pete, man. Oh, it is great. I
don't miss that.
Chris and Aladino agree with me. They're going with the Saints. Is Carr starting? No, I think it's Winston starting. I'm pretty sure.
Winston's starting, I think.
But the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, I think they didn't win last week, did they?
No, they lost 21-16.
And Evan picked the Cardinals to win because of Kyler Murray. I'm going with the Rams on this one. Russ, who wins this one?
Yeah, I think Stafford back. I like the Rams on that. I still want to see more on Kyler Murray.
That's right. Evan?
It's in Arizona?
Yep.
Cardinals.
All right. He's going
Kyler Murray will play better at home.
Sure. All right. We got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Denver Broncos. The Broncos seem to be trending up. Cleveland lost Deshaun Watson for the season, but what much of a difference did he really make on that team anyway? Their defense, though, is number 1 in the league, Evan. Can the Browns take out the Broncos in Denver?
Russell Wilson is playing very efficient football. He's actually, if you go look at his stats overall, he's not costing his team football games. The famous line is to Russ is let Russ cook. And it's the defense of Van Joseph did not succumb to the fact that he will put the 70 spot was put up on him. He is a decent coach, and I think that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to struggle against that defense. That defense still has some decent players on that team, and I do believe that the Broncos will pick up the W in Mile High.
There you go. Russ, how do you think this plays out? Browns and Broncos.
Yeah, this game's going to be a struggle. DTR was a great college quarterback. I don't think he's a great college quarterback at UCLA. I'm going to go, I was trending Broncos, but just thinking I dropped the DTR UCLA, and I saw him his last regular season game against USC, and this guy's just putting his, head down, getting every yard. So I'm going to go with the Browns defense.
I'm rolling with the Browns again because I know Watson going down. It kind of leads that way. Obviously, Broncos at home. Broncos trending up. I could see the split here. You could go either way, but the number 1 defense in football statistically, I think Kansas City could give him a run for the money. But the Browns, top defense in football. DTR I don't think is too much of a drop off, at least this year, than of Deshaun Watson. I'm going to roll with Cleveland here, but I would love for Denver to win because obviously it would help Miami. If fun fact on playoff scenarios, if Miami wins in Jacksonville, or if Jacksonville, Kansas City, and Baltimore lose today, Cleveland will move up to the number 1 seed.
Not today. Sunday.
The weekend. Shut up. I was going to finish. Would you mute your mic until I'm done talking? You know what I mean. Mute the damn thing. We're doing this on a Friday, not on a Sunday. Damn it. On Sunday.
It's all that tryptophan, guys. It's all that tryptophan.
What'd you say? What does that mean?
You're a little tired from all that turkey that you ate. It's a trip to
That
fan the turkey.
That's right. That's right. It's Friday. Anyway, that's just fun fact. Buffalo at the Eagles. Russ,
I
this
got the
you got
I'm
the
coaching.
Bills?
I got the Bills.
Really, man? Talk to me.
I'm not high on the Eagles. I think Josh Allen's going to get this. I haven't been impressed. I know they're 9-1. I haven't been impressed by this team. Yeah, they looked better last week. I've got the Bills. I mean, this team's just not impressing me, and I think Josh Allen will do it. Yeah, Josh Allen will get it done. I think he needs to go back to the rushing game. So, yeah, I got the Bills.
Interesting. That would be a crazy upset. It doesn't hurt Miami. I'm going to roll the Eagles on this one, but I could see it. Evan, why is he wrong? You're shaking your head there.
Because Josh Allen is a turnover machine. The defense of that team is going to drive him bananas. They know the Eagles have yet to play a great game, but one of those games is going to come, and they know who they're facing. They did it to Mahomes. They're going to do it to Allen. Mahomes doesn't turn over the ball the way Allen does. There's something about this team. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. And yes, I hate the Bills. But at the same time, I just think this is the murderer's row. And I have a prediction I made that the Dolphins when they go face Dallas, they should have already clinched the division. And the only way that happens is if the Bills lose 2 of their next 3. And I think it will start on Sunday.
Yeah, I see you. All right. Yeah, I'm rolling with the Eagles on this.
You have to remember who they beat. They're going on the road. If this is a home game, I might be a little different. They're going to Philly. It ain't going to be easy.
Now, again, these next games that we're talking about here, we talked about the Browns versus the Broncos. These next games are so important for Miami because if these teams like the Browns, the Chiefs, the Ravens, they drop, that helps Miami's chances on moving up, obviously. And, of course, the same thing with the Jags and securing home field by and all that. On Sunday,
that's the best comment.
What's the laugh?
Josh Allen is the new Phillip Rivers minus kids. That's really funny.
Comedic. You have the Kansas City Chiefs, Evan, traveling to Vegas to take the Raiders. Can the Raiders upset the Chiefs?
No, not a chance. They're not facing a juggernaut team. They lost last week by their own volition, but even at that point, the Raiders and Aidan O'Connell cannot score. So even if they put up the same amount of points they put against the Eagles, who have a much better team, they'll win because the Eagles can't score. The Raiders just don't score. We gave the Raiders every opportunity to try to tie that football game up. Every opportunity. And they couldn't do it. And I love our defense, but the Chiefs' defense is better than our defense. There's no chance.
Russ, is there a chance?
Short and quick. I'm with you. The Chiefs got this.
This is my upset of the week. The Las Vegas Raiders will upset the Kansas City Chiefs today. This is my upset. Raiders will beat the Chiefs. It's at home in Vegas. It's a divisional game. Remember I said it a couple weeks ago? It's going to happen again. There's just the upset. The Ravens versus the Chargers. They're traveling to L.A. Can Justin Herbert beat the Baltimore Ravens, Russ?
I don't think so. I got the Ravens in this one. We'll see how the Andrews injury affects that offense, but definitely Ravens are trending in the right direction. Right top of the AFC right there. So I got the Ravens.
FinStanza?
You know when you're driving your car and sometimes a light comes up, it says ABS, which is your ABS brakes. That actually allows you to stop. Well, the Chargers have something, and it's called all but Staley. Staley is a curse for those Chargers. He puts the brakes on the Herbert offense with that forsaken awful defense. The guy has stars on that defense, doesn't know what to do with. This team is in a free fall. And as long as they should have fired Staley already, and no matter what Herbert does, they could have Huntley at quarterback. They could be missing Andrews. Beckham can stay back in Baltimore. The Ravens can't lose this football game because as long as Brandon Staley's on the other side of the field, you're going to win that football game. How do you have a Justin Herbert, and how do you screw this up? You have Justin Herbert, you have Keenan Allen, you have Austin Eckler, but your defense is so sick and bad, and you have the most expensive defense in the league. And you can't do anything with it. Nothing. The Chargers suck.
I am rolling with the Ravens on this one.
They can have Huntley at quarterback; they'll still win.
Yeah. Well, in Baltimore.
I like Gus Edwards, and I like Zay Flowers. Like Lamar Jackson will find a way against that defense. I think Lamar Jackson is going to run easily for 100 against that defense.
No Bosa too.
No Bosa either. He can run. He'll run for over 100 that game. Lamar. He'll run for at least 100.
So you got the Bears traveling to Minnesota. I have the Vikings winning that. Evan, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, Josh Dobbs will have an easy game. Justin Fields is not going to be the quarterback of that team next year. They're finding a way to move on from there.
Yeah.
You with us there?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, the Vikings got it. Need that.
In spite of Brian Flores, they'll pick up the win.
There you go. All right. So, and let me just read off Week 12 playoff scenarios so that way people are in the know. Obviously, if Miami loses, they remain the 4th seed. If Miami and Baltimore, Kansas City, Cleveland, Jacksonville all win, Dolphins remain the 4th seed. If Miami wins and Jacksonville or Kansas City loses, Miami moves up to the 3rd seed. Obviously, if they win today, they're the number 1 seed by default, but you got to let the rest, week 3 or this week play out. But if Miami wins and Jacksonville or Kansas City lose, Miami moves up to 3. If Miami wins and Jacksonville and Kansas City lose, Miami moves up to 2. If Baltimore loses, Cleveland will move up to number 1. If Miami wins and all of those teams lose, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cleveland, then Miami will move up to number 1. So there you go. All right, Russ, I want to ask you, my man, for the Jets, representing the New York Football Jets, what are the Jets' keys to victory? How can they secure a Dolphins victory today?
They're going to have to score. Brees is going to have a big game. I mean, it's just going to be all Brees. Dalvin Cook, one of the worst signings this whole offseason. And I want to see more Jeremy Rucker. And they should have been using him earlier in the year because he was a hell of a blocking tight end in college, and that offensive line is weak. So, I mean, it's going to have to come down to Brees, minimize the turnovers, and, like every single Jets game this year, put it on the defense and hope we can force a couple turnovers against Tua, get that short field because the Jets really can, travel from the 25-yard line to score a touchdown. Maybe we can score a touchdown on the first drive. I can't remember the last time the Jets scored a touchdown right off the bat. It's been a long time. So, it's going to have to come down to Brees. And hopefully Tim Boyle can hit Garrett Wilson. And then, defense hopefully force a couple turnovers and have that short field.
There you go. Evan, your keys to secure a Dolphins victory against the Jets today.
No turnovers. Simple. 0 turnovers. In short yardage situations, I don't care what the play is, run the football. I will not be upset with our team if we run the football on short yardage situations. At least you tried. And if Jake Bailey has to punt, no muff punts, no easy field position. Do not give any sense to you have to make the Jets go down the field every time. I want the Jets to have to go 70-plus yards every single drive, no matter what. So they have to start at the 25 or earlier, no matter what. I don't care how. No turnovers and run the football on short yardage. I don't want to see any of these screen passes because Durham Smythe, Julian Hill, Tanner Connor, Tyler Croft, I don't care who they are, they cannot block anything. They couldn't block a Pop Warner defensive end or cornerback or safety. So please, Tua, be smart with the football. Jake Bailey, Jason Sanders, no stupid special teams mistakes, and run the football on short yardage. That's how we win these football games.
There you go. For me, started off, you said at the beginning there, win the turnover battle. Win the turnover battle. Defense come up with
turnovers.
Yeah. Defense can come up with some turnovers. Offense protect the ball. Offensive line, protect your quarterback. Protect your quarterback. And that will help you with the turnover battle. And then, again, 30th ranked offense. Our defense should dominate this game. This should be a defensive dominant game, pure dominance. And, of course, run the ball. Run it. Don't stop. Make it happen. All right. Russ.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I just want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I want to honestly. For me, I'm actually relieved that Zach Wilson isn't playing. Because for me, the Dolphins don't do well against running quarterbacks. It was actually a blessing for us that he's not playing. I think we would struggle against Zach Wilson. Not in terms of his stats. I think the defense will have an easier time with a stationary backup quarterback who hasn't played all year versus Zach Wilson, who can make some plays out of the pocket. Because if you've ever noticed with the Dolphins, when Josh Allen does it, when Lamar Jackson has done it, a lot of these quarterbacks who can get outside the pocket and make plays, and we're chasing them, it gives the wide receivers more time, and we seem to not be able to cover because a lot of our linebackers sometimes do not cover well. The Jerome Bakers and that group do not cover well when the plays gets extended, and also Deshaun Elliott as safety. So for me, I'm actually kind of relieved it's a stationary quarterback in Tim Boyle, but my biggest fear today is Tua. I don't know about you. I think he has to realize I want him to be I want him to play like Chad Pennington today and nothing else. Be the Chad Pennington of this football team. Do what you need to do to win the football game. Don't overthink this game. Chad Pennington, not Dan Marino, Chad Pennington. Please. Don't try to be the best player on the field. Just be a member of the team.
I love that throwback. I love Chad Pennington. Love Chad Pennington.
We do too.
Bobby loves Chad.
What he did with Miami.
Bobby said he'd be satisfied if Tua last year was Chad Pennington.
My guy can't grow any facial hair to save his life, but and him throwing the ball to the sidelines was a pain every time. You're like, is he gonna get it there? But he always does.
Well, my thing was more about being a game manager. Do not turn over the ball. Protect the ball. Get it to your guy. That's what was my point with the Chad Pennington. I don't think it's fair when you say, "Oh, Tua beat index Dan Marino." No, that's not fair. Stop.
No.
Anyway,
try to win the game yourself. Don't.
In regards of exactly. In regards of very quick, the Tim Boyle, who's starting for the New York Jets today. He's a 5-year pro. He started 3 games for the Lions back in 21. He was 0-3 as a starter. He finished that game with that season 526, or those 3 games. He was 526 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Did have a completion percentage of 65%, 64.9. This season, 33 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So that's Tim Boyle. So, Russ, what happens today, man? What's your game prediction and what's the final score?
Oh, well, I'm never going to pick against the Jets. So I'm going to go 18-13 Jets. I'm a diehard Jets fan. You could say I'm a homer. I'm always going to pick for my team. Am I that confident? No, but I'm not picking against my team.
Okay, fair enough. And you know what? If the Jets did want to win, or they do want to win, it probably has to be a low-scoring game.
Oh, that's the only way we win all this year is the defense just has to. We win the Jets. We get the turnover battle, and maybe score a touchdown or 2.
And let me tell you, if that happens, it's 18-13 Jets. I am so happy I'm not doing post-game tonight. I'm so happy I get to escape post-game.
What are you doing today? Alex left. Why aren't you joining post-game?
Alex hasn't left. I told you that already.
He's leaving tomorrow, right?
There you go.
Weren't you gonna pop in?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Depends if the Dolphins don't lose 18-13. If the Dolphins win, I may pop in.
I'll
If they
make
lose,
you a
I'm not
deal.
going in.
If you
There's
and
no deal.
Alex,
You haven't bought a Jason Sanders jersey. You cannot make any more deals until you have a Sanders jersey. You are not allowed.
Can you
to
get
have
me a
big one.
discount at Canes wear? They don't make them.
That's tough life for you, Evan.
Not even Jersey Kingdom has them.
Game. Final prediction. Game prediction.
This game?
Yes, sir.
Dolphins 21. Because I don't want to see Jason Sanders kick a field goal.
Dolphins
Okay.
what? I'm sorry.
Dolphins 21.
Okay.
Jets 9.
All right. I like it. Low scoring. That's real. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you.
Do you know what Hank predicted? Do you know what Hank predicted?
I have it here. I actually have it
Is he
right
bananas?
here. 42-17.
Is he
I know.
crazy?
42-17 Miami.
By the way, I'd
Yeah,
be
he
pissed.
does-
I'd be pissed because to give up 2 touchdowns to the Jets, I'd be pissed at the defense.
Screw the Jets. Well, I mean that, Russ, but not to you, Russ. Not to you, Russ.
It's all
Screw
good.
the Jets. 28-17 for Chris. Chris has a 28-17. Hey, she was the closest one last week. 28-17.
All I got to say, Bobby, if the Jets do win, you're going to never ask me to come back.
Yeah, you're done, sir. No. You've been great, man. This has been amazing. Aladino has it 27-17. I like to have their score so when at post game or we could get back.
Yeah, Malloy had it 20-13.
Okay.
Thirsty, I'm trying to remember because I wasn't paying attention to him. 24-13. I'm kidding.
What was Thirsty?
24-13.
24-13. I love these
has
scores.
it 27-17. Orlando has it 33-10.
Okay.
Scotty has it 31-10.
31-10.
Wait, someone said we're going to score 13 points? Wow, yeah.
All right. We got 13. Yeah. I'm with Scotty.
I actually predicted 3 possessions. I didn't say how they were going to score.
I just want to say I agree with Scotty. That's my prediction. I have it right here. Dolphins win 31-10. That's my prediction for today's game. But again, I think the score is, I think Hank's a little rich, but hey, maybe you never know. I wish we had a little Amari for this game. We need Sanders to connect. Hey, he'll cook a couple field goals today. But anyway,
because if it wasn't for Jason Sanders, we may not win games because he scored us 6 points. They scored us 9 points. They scored us this. Bobby.
Yeah. He hasn't cost us a game.
Even the singles count, right? Even the single points count, right?
Yeah, because he's scoring points. Let's see if our offense can get more than to get halfway through the field before they have to kick another field goal. Let's see what they could do against a top 10 defense today.
No,
31-10. I do.
I personally believe this game falls on Tua. If Tua plays smart, Tua is the determining factor of this football game. He is the guy who will decide whether or not this game is won or lost. He will be the deciding factor. It won't be the defenses on either side of the ball.
No, I think that's fair. Again, and that's why I love the scores, guys, and I'm dead serious. I mean, honestly, 24-13, 20-10, 18-13, even for Russ with the Jets winning, 28-17, 21-9, 27-7. Honestly, it's I know 40. We joke with Hank with 45 to whatever he had, but you have one of the top defenses in football. Jets offense is not, but it's a divisional game. It's in New York. It's in MetLife. Miami struggles away from home. They struggle on primetime, even though it's during the day. It is a primetime game. Everybody's watching this game. It happens. If Miami wins this game, if they beat the Jets, yes, it's the Jets, but in MetLife on Black Friday, top 10 defense, it's trending up. I love it. Guys, Evan is working. It is Friday. It's not a holiday. What is Black Friday for him there in Canada? We are at the hour. Again, you can join FinStalk Network, FinStalk Sports Network. The coverage does not stop. After the game tonight, get live raw reaction of the Dolphins over the Jets. It will be a Dolphins victory. If we say so, if Russ says, Russ should be back
Scotty,
on.
you and I are always on the same page. I just lost a little respect. I'm just saying that Tua has struggled against top 10 defenses. he's the core because he turned over the ball. The game should have been a much bigger score. Had Tua not screwed up last week, it would have been a 31 to 30-13. That's the big difference for me.
Scotty don't play, man. He will hold you to. He gets you right there.
By the way, are you trusting Hank and Vogel to give me the reins tonight? They're in trouble.
No, but I don't know.
You're letting me ride the bus of the post game. You're asking for trouble tonight.
All right. Yeah, I know. But that's depending on what's going on. You're gonna have to let them talk sometime, though. You're gonna have to let them talk. All right. Just don't end my shows early. That would be great. All right, guys. Russ, man, thank you so much for coming on, brother. I hope it's not the last time, even if it's not Dolphins Jets, man, because you were great, dude.
Thank you, and Bobby, yeah, man, I'm a huge college football guy and definitely a huge NFL guy too. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you guys because we get to do our college football podcast, and we're just 4 groups of idiots who like to talk college football, and you give us that opportunity to do that. So I'm grateful for everything you're doing for us. So, I'm really happy you guys had me on. I had fun. I know, you guys bashed the Jets, but I'm used to that. So this was a great time.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, brother. Again, I hope it's not the last time. And college football, we got draft coverage during the offseason. It's never an off time. So I would love to have you back on at least for that as well. And again, we got to talk about baseball. I'd love that if you're down to do that.
Hey, I'm all there for you. Baseball, I'm kind of weird. I'm a college baseball guy. You might have to start getting into that. Now you're in the South. College baseball is a different story in the South. But definitely. I appreciate both you guys for having me on, even though I'm a Jets fan, and this is a great time. And hopefully for me, it's a little better in 4 hours, but I'm not overly confident.
There you go. All right. And thank you, Ray. Yes, Russ is not he's a nice guy. All right. And Evan just leaves the comments and, just lets it rotate, and we'll just roll with that.
I mean, I will say there's 2 types of fans. And being a Jets fan, you're either optimistic, and being a Jets fan, you're always pessimistic. So we're a pessimistic fan base. That's just how it is.
That's all good, man. So, guys, don't forget FinStanza. You'll find. Oh, go ahead, Evan. You got one more.
I just want to make a point that's really critical. I think you're going to shake your head. Yes, finally, the only smart point he's made all day.
Yep.
The Dolphins, going back to last season, Bobby. When's the last time we saw them play a 60-minute football game? Great on both sides of the ball. This is the kind of game where if Tua is a game manager and they run the game efficiently, this is the kind of game against the kind of team where they can win, and we could be proud of a 60-minute effort if they follow a proper game plan. I'd like to see them play a complete football game today. And if they win 24-9, that means 21-9. They scored when they had to score. Yes, but you're playing a very stout defense. You didn't give up any big plays because the Jets couldn't score a touchdown. And c'est la vie. Let's move on.
Perfect. All right, guys. Russ, FinStanza, Bobby Finstalk, we thank you all for tuning in. We will see you. Well, Evan will see you tonight. I may pop in. Maybe we'll pop in with Alex later as well, just to give our quick take. But everybody, thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. Dolphin fans, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up.